Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Gary Holt from Exodus and formerly from Slayer, and you're listening to The Razor's Edge.
Hey guys, what's going on? It's Tom here from The Razor's Edge, and I'm here with Paul Waller of OHHMS. How are you, sir? You well?
Hi. Yeah, I'm very well. Thanks for asking me to come on.
No, it's a pleasure. It's great. I literally, before we hopped on, I was just thoroughly enjoying the brand new album, obviously, that we're here to talk about today. But before we do delve into rot, I want to go back a little bit and just find out how the past couple of years have been for you, obviously with the pandemic and everything. Like, how have the last few years been for you?
Very good, but it's been like I'm proper lucky because I could work from home, and like the band, when that stopped, it was like, right, okay, well, we've just like finished doing a little tour anyway, so that was okay. We'd already got to tour some of the songs. We were so lucky in that way, and then we just started sending each other songs again. So it was like perfect pandemic timing, and I got to chill and then watch like a ton of horror films as well. So it was like, it just really worked out.
Everybody wins. That's kind of almost like it was meant to be, sort of thing. It's like, guys, we should definitely tour in January. Yeah, we're touring January because I feel like something's going to happen.
I'm cool with it. Just the next pandemic, if it comes along like that, same again, just less death, maybe.
Yeah, that would be nice.
There we go. I'm going.
But did you like complete horror? Have like said everything?
I had the best pandemic. What can I say? I just had such a good time. Like, there was no one that I knew that died, which is good, I guess.
Spot on. Yeah.
But there was the horror story was there was a little gap between like there was this lockdown stopped and then we could go out, and we obviously we can't go overseas, but we went to Wales, me and my wife, and got out of a car park. We'd been driving for hours and hours because we live like right on the southeast coast. And then I just pulled up into a car park, and there's this band called Mammoth Weed, Wizard Bastard. I don't know if you've heard of them, but anyway, they're there, and we've toured with them before. And like, just as I opened the door, it was like, Paul. I was like, what? What is this in a rainy car park in the middle of Wales? And it was the guys from Mammoth Weed. And like the one of the main guys there had got COVID and got it so bad that can no longer do anything in the band. He was in hospital.
Oh, my fuck.
Yeah, and it was just like that's it. And that's why Mammoth Weed aren't Mammoth Weed anymore, is because like it fucked him up incredibly badly. And it's just one of those things that you just think, right, man, I was loving every second of this because nothing affected me. I was in my own little, literally a bubble. And then it was like, fuck, like there's a good mate. And he's just out for the count.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, man. That sucks. But at least nobody was affected to like immediately too close to, which is good. So, and obviously we're past it now. So, well, are we?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, of course we are. Yeah, but as I say, bring the next one on. That's what I'm saying. I need more time off.
Mate, tell me about it. I got so used to being furloughed. I was like, I'd get used to this.
Yeah, too right. How us in the light, really comfortable white man. Yeah, I'm doing really well. Bring it. Yeah, terrible.
But let's go even further back. What made you want to become a musician in the first place? What drew you to music? Was it when you were a kid? Was it your parents?
Definitely being a kid. I discovered ABBA and KISS at the same time. Both were touring Australia, which is where I was born and raised.
Oh,
and
wow.
So ABBA, I think, was 78 or 79. So I was like 3. And then a couple of years later, when I was sort of like buying trading cards, cricket cards or soccer cards or whatever, then KISS cards came out, and I was like, what the hell is KISS? Right. And I would get these KISS trading cards, and then like they toured, they came over, and it was like all over the actual news. And it was just this big thing, like KISS are on the news. They're visiting Australia, and I would go across the road to where like a massive shopping center is, and you could buy like these big wall hangings of Gene Simmons and things like this. And for a 5-year-old, this was blowing my pants. It was like, what is this? This is amazing. And of course, a couple of years later, I got like lots of Kiss vinyl for Christmas or whatever. I still probably hadn't heard them very well until then. And then, yeah, everything changed. So yeah, thanks Kiss.
Wow, that's quite a contrasting set of stars there as well, ABBA and Kiss.
Right, it's a good combo, the best combo, I would say.
Yeah. They need to make like merge them together and make like, I don't know, Abyss or something and see how that works out.
The black metal version.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm having it.
So would you say that ABBA and Kiss obviously influenced you in the way of this is what I want to do for the rest of my life?
Yeah, there was another thing that was so that sort of got it into me that's what I want to do. Wouldn't that be amazing? Like any kid that sees like a superhero or something like, oh, that'd be cool to be. But it wasn't until like we'd immigrated to England, and I saw what like how all the girls were with Duran Duran, and it was just like, man, they really loved this band Duran Duran. I was just into them for the music. I didn't know that a whole other thing, like you would idolize people in that way. Like sex hadn't even entered my kid brain sort of thing, but I just knew that the girls loved this band. So yeah, when I was listening to them, the main thing that made me want to be a singer and sing was Simon Le Bon's voice. The way he used it, I just loved it. I thought it was all creamy. I could melt into it. And yeah, that made me just want to be a singer. So yeah, all them three things I would say. So you got ABBA, you got Kiss, you got Duran Duran. And then of course, like thrash metal, all that sort of stuff happened and just changed everything else.
It's incredible. Like it's nice to see though, obviously, because I think there's only so much rock metal. I think people, as you get older, like I find myself now, I'm like, oh, we just have a bit of NSYNC or something, just for a couple of songs. Just you need that little bit of like poppy, just happy sort of vibe going on. Because obviously, if you listen to metal all the time, after a while, you're like, it's heavy, it's a lot.
Do you know, it's only recently that I've started getting back into it. And when I say recently, like last few weeks,
oh wow,
I'm just getting back into metal again, thanks to Enslaved. It was that new record of theirs. Like I, for some reason, just skipped them. I think it was because they said they weren't black metal. They wanted to separate themselves from that initial scene. And I was like, well, fine, I'll separate myself from listening to you. What an idiot! Because like, what a band! That new album just killed me. It's like a few weeks old now, but I can't stop listening to it. So, yeah.
Heimdall, it's called, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the one. Oh my god, it's great.
I mean, when you got a band that's been going for that long, because obviously they've been around since like the early 90s, I think. So
yep, yeah,
absolutely amazing. So OHHMS, then, how did you guys all meet?
Several other sort of local bands like got together, and I said, look, I've got 10 years left of being a musician, and this was just about 10 years ago. So I'd hit 40, so I'm coming up to 50. I'm 48 now, so I've got a couple years left with this band, and then I'm calling it kaput. And I was like, right, we've got 10 years. What do you want to do? And the whole idea was, let's be like Swans. Like they've got this massive sort of career. Let's all just go for a meeting around a table. I'll bring a drum beat, and this drum beat, if you like it, we'll build like songs off of this beat. And it was simple as that, just one little idea. And there was two things that we wanted to do before we give up. And that was one, to sign to our favorite record label, which at the time was Holy Roll Records. And then wouldn't it be great if we could play this festival that's down the road from us called Heavy Fest? So it was like, right, they're the two goals. Let's aim for that. Right, in 5 years, if we're there, fantastic, and then we can ride it out for another 5. Brilliant. And then within 6 months, that had all happened. Like we'd just done it. It was mad. So it was just like the best thing. Like within that 6 months period, sitting around that table, just a couple of friends, a couple of people I didn't know very well, but like I just knew from the scene. So good, just from a Swan sort of drum beat that I just did on garage band. It was just a simple beat. Should we just go around this? Yeah. So yeah, it's great. What way to
That's
start?
amazing. Well, tell me. Here's our goals. Oh, we've done it. Oh, we haven't even moved from the table yet.
It does. So it leaves you with that problem. What do you do now? Do you want to continue? Is it worth going on? Because like we've hit those goals, and then as most bands will do, you just stretch that goal a little bit further, a little bit further. But we always knew that even from that very first sit down, before we even played a note together, one of us is a teacher, the other one's got full-time job. There's only two of us that are free to do it, so we can't go and tour America for like 6 months. So we watched bands like Conjurer, who we're starting off, and like they'll take us out on tour, we'll take them out on tour, that sort of thing. And then we get offered the tour and we can't go to like America. We can't do that 2 months out there or whatever they did. Incredible thing that they did. And then they can, and like as a unit, you can see them tighten up, like they're pulling their chops together. It's something that we could never do. So we sort of oddly just act like this local band, always at this local level. So anything that we get, anything that we do, every album is just like, oh my God, that's amazing. How are we getting this stuff? Because we can't commit to those sort of things. We just can't do it. But we knew from the off. So it's like we're never going to get to that, like that potential level, because we just can't commit to it. So it's a real fucker, because you never know if you were ever going to do that. But at the same time, we knew all along. So yeah, we just do everything that we can, and like as I say, every single positive thing that we get is just gravy. It's great.
Is it nice, kind of knowing you could do it though?
It's nice getting the offers. I feel awful to our booking agent when they come in, and then we say, I'm really sorry. Try again, maybe this time next year, and then knowing full well that like, oh man, I'm so sorry. But what can you do? And like there is that thing, well, maybe if this member can't go and that member can't go, then we can sort of pull it together. But no, it just wouldn't be the premise of the band, what we got together for. So it's a bit of a dicky thing for us to treat others that are putting so much time into it, as well as us, because it's like a team behind us. It's not just us. But at the same time, it's one of those things we just knew, everyone knows going into it. And I think if you're in a band and you function at our level, like, I think that's amazing that you can do that. Like, as I say, I watched KISS as that young kid playing in front of like 20,000 people. I didn't know that one day I'd have a chance to play in front of 3,500 people. Like, that was amazing. I can't believe I've done that. What a thing to tick off. So yeah, it's all a dream come true. So yeah, I love it, mate. I absolutely love where we are and what we're doing. It's a shame we couldn't do those American tours or whatever. But
yeah,
what can
I
you
think
do?
maybe it's like before you all go and put it all to bed, maybe just do one last thing and go, shall we just do it this one time? So to be like, thanks guys, cheers, see you later, we're now done, hooray.
Well, the thing, I feel like even doing that would be a bit of a dick move, because the way that the labels work and things like that, they put that time and effort into you. And if you're not willing to like build upon that, then you're letting other people down. And I don't want to let anyone down with it. Like, I know that if we do that and we do get some success off it, then they'll want to build, because they've invested more money into us to do it. And yeah, so we're stuck in that sort of thing. And it's like the music industry isn't what it was even when we started. So there's far less money out there. And I know you brought Conjure up already, but I recently had a chat with Brady, and like they've got another American tour. And it's just a thought that they're going to go out there, they're going to do that, and they're going to have the best time of their lives. Just they have so much fun, and then they'll come back, but won't have made a penny from it. And it's crazy.
That's mental.
You know, it's one of those things, and it's the same. It's the same with us. Like the first couple of years, the investment that we made in the band meant that the next 3 years or so, when we would tour Europe and things like that, we'd come home with money in our pockets and things like that, and it was like, you know, it's so good. And you can do one gig that will fund the whole tour, and that sort of thing is fantastic. But again, I've got that thing in my head where if I let people down that have given me the benefit of the doubt and some time and money, then I just don't want to fuck them about. So it's tricky. It's tricky. I do want to do that sort of thing, but it's tricky.
Yeah, bless you, man. I feel for you. Fair play to you. They've been like, do you know what? I don't want to fuck you over. Don't worry about it. I think there's a lot of people out there that'd be like, yeah, and
no, but it's too much. And like the people that that we work with, like Justine and Sammy on Church Road, and like the booking agent and things like that, I can't imagine they're raking in,
yeah,
just like billions of pounds in like on yachts and things like that. It's just everyone is like just getting by. So yeah, I don't know, but at the same time, as I say, like to get offered these things where we like can do a festival and things like that, that's all we ever wanted to start with. We're not a greedy band. Like when we get that sort of thing, we're like, oh my God, I can't believe we're playing that. And like, look who's on that bill. I remember how excited we were to know that the Locust were playing Art Tangent the same time we were, and just things like that. Like you can't believe how stoked we are. Or Swans this time around, it's like, my God, Swans on that. Oh, this is the dream. Yeah, I love it.
that's amazing. Your reactions are great. It's absolutely incredible. Where did the name come from? Where did OHHMS actually come from?
It was Mark, our guitar player. Like we were just trying to come up with something, and it's the usual thing of like, right, well, they're all taken because you just go straight onto Google now. Thank you, Google. And like, no, that's gone. Or I know that even with OHHMS, there was a guy that put 2 M's in. There was a band with 2 M's, so it had OHHMS, and then there was another guy with 3 H's, I think it was, but he was one guy in Thailand just on a computer.
Oh,
I was like, right, we can get away with that. He's got like 60 listens at the moment or something like that. So it's like, we can do that. So let's just chop that H off. So it was like, even when we thought OHHMS is the way, and then it was like, right, well, it's too close still. What do we do now? And it was like, right, brackets. Let's just put some brackets on there. You know how like the word cult and you stick a V in there or something? And it's just like, what can you do to make it different? I know there's 1,000 names out there that haven't been taken, but I wanted something short that would look great on an album cover if it was just that word, big and stretched out. And yeah, and it does. But yeah, it was weird. When we first had our reviews in, there was this article, I think it was like maybe in The Guardian or something like that. And it was just like bands that have like commas and like the new what was it called? It's like the new dictionary of band names or something like that. Where do you put things if you're in a library, with OHHMS being like with 2 brackets? And we were mentioned in this article amongst all these great bands or whatever. I was like, wow, instantly, like we've got this, we've got that, and now we're in The Guardian. It was all these things that were just like so cool happening at once. Great. Loved it.
that's amazing. I remember the days of all the bands that just had the at the beginning. So it was like the Strokes, the Hives, the White Stripes.
Still good. Still like it. Yeah. Bring it. Yeah. My favorite was The Muse. Love them.
Hey? I was going to say, I was like, I don't.
Sorry.
I did apologize. That went right over my head. I do apologize. I didn't catch it.
Comedy Hour. I'm on it.
So what made you want to go down like the post-sludgy metal type style?
It was accident, really.
Okay.
As I say, all we wanted, I think there was Swans and Genesis and Crass. So I was a journalist when we started, and they were the last bands that I interviewed. And I was like, right, I was talking to the guys at the table at the time and said, like, they're the last 3 bands, so let's just combine them. Because we were just spitballing, what do you want to do in your last 10 years as a band, sort of thing. It's like, right, I've just spoken to some of the guys from Genesis, I've just spoken to the guy from Swans, I've just spoken to the guy from Crass. Right, let's figure this out. And then, as I say, in that practice, we thought we'd nailed it, but it turned out to be just like, this is sludge, stoner, doom. This is what this is. And I pretty much, I know, same year at some point discovered Black Sabbath, and it was insane. I gave up my whole life to Black Sabbath. When you discover a new band, especially that late in life, I was just like, right, this is an amazing back catalogue. And I remember them first 6 albums, just like, that is it. So with our first EPs, it was like, we're not going to use anything, any instrument outside of that first block of work from Black Sabbath, because if they can do this with all their instruments, we don't need all this shit. Let's just use everything that they do, and we can see what we can create from it. So it was a mix of those 3 initial bands. So you had that proggy length of Genesis and like the punk attitude of Crass, and then me just getting into Black Sabbath and like, can I sound like Ozzy? No, I can't. Damn it. That's what it's like. Oh man, I love that band.
I've never really listened to Black Sabbath properly. I was brought up on like Maiden and Guns N' Roses and like Van Halen and stuff by my dad, but Sabbath was never a band he picked, which is odd.
Yeah, I never liked them growing up at all. I just thought I hated War Pigs. I thought I'm old enough to have seen like Faith No More a fair few times on the Angel Dust tour, and I remember when they would knock out War Pigs, and I was just like, oh fuck's sake, here we go. And you know, I just hated that song, so I just wouldn't go into Black Sabbath. But it honestly was one of them life changes. The only other one that the artist that sort of got me in that same way was when I discovered, I think it was 30 odd or 32 maybe, but it was Bob Dylan. And again, it's just weird. You got that massive back catalogue, all that stuff to explore, and you just lose yourself for 6 months. And I love it when music can do that. Funny sort of story as well. I love it when like people argue. I don't know why I said funny. It's not funny. It's just a story. But like when people argue, like you know, the Metallica, like what's their best album? And like someone will say, oh, it's Ride the Lightning. The other person will be Master of Puppets, and you row about it. And like one of the things with OHHMS is I really wanted people to like, if you were into the band, great, but I want you to row about what your favorite album is. I don't want there to be like, this is obviously the good one and all these other ones are just or whatever. I wanted them to like each one be like their own unique thing and people to row about it. And I said it in like my first sort of interview with, no, it was Metal Hammer, and I mentioned that, and like I heard the guy who was interviewing me just go, oh yeah, like, and it was like that, oh yeah, like that will ever happen sort of thing. And then he's got his own podcast, and he was doing just that about OHHMS on the podcast. I loved it. I don't know why that just came to my head. But yeah, that's Stephen Hill. That's the guy. Yeah,
that's amazing. Yeah. Such a bittersweet moment. It's like, oh, it's almost like if you had a cigarette, you just want to tap it up, like, there we are, boys. Beautiful.
Yeah.
But I mean, so we'll comment. So Rot obviously is out next Friday, the 31st of March. And yes. I've just been indulging myself before we sat down and had this conversation. Absolutely fantastic. I'm not going to lie. This is my first introduction to you guys, and I was like blown away. Absolutely incredible.
Cool.
I'm not just saying it because you're here.
I'll take it.
Perfect. Are you excited for the release next week?
I guess so. I don't know. It's really strange. I don't know. Like I really want it out. I want it in my hand. I want that physical thing. I can't wait to just open it. Like the artwork on it is so incredible. And it was a discussion with the label. Like, we can have all these crazy colors, or we can have this lavish gatefold. And I was like, can we just do the gatefold? Like, I prefer black vinyl anyway. And like, as a surprise, they sort of did the color thing anyway. So there's a nice color on it anyway. But like, I was just like so in love with this artwork, and knowing that within the next few days it's going to be in my hand, I'm so excited. Listening to it, I've heard it a million times. Like, it's really strange. I'm still listening to it. Like, I go on my dog walks on the morning, and I'll crank it up, and I'll think, oh man, I wish that would have been a bit longer, or I wish we'd cut that bit off. But I've got no issues with it like I would with normal OHHMS records. So I'm quietly confident, and like the reviews that have come through so far have just been like ridiculously good. I don't know. Basically all I want to do is to be able to like do a few festivals from it. I'm quite happy with that. I know that our guitar guy, like he lived out his dream. Like Stu, he got to play Tech Fest. That's all he wanted. It's all he wanted from being in the band was to play Tech Fest. He got that last year. I know Max really, really wants to play Download, and like that's the last sort of thing. So maybe we'll get to do that at some point. Don't know, but yeah, I don't know, man. We're just ticking boxes. We're just the luckiest people. Like we get in that practice room and we think, right, is this song any good? No. So we'll just bin it. We don't even work on it. We just bin it. And like when we've got like 8 that we like, we'll start recording. Simple as that. And I don't know many other bands that work that way, but it's just the way we do it. Like we won't even go to the next bit. We'll just bin it.
That's crazy. I mean, I suppose you don't want to waste time on this, but if you guys aren't feeling it and a bit like, you know, we're not really sure, what's the point in trying to make it work? Because if you try, it might not sound right, and then people might be like, "Oh, I'm not really a big fan of this. It's not," you know what I mean? So you want things that you can put all your love into and stuff, and be like, "Yeah, this is fucking awesome. People need to listen to this shit."
You're spot on. Yeah, completely right. Like, you know when something's working, and it's weird when you're in a band. The way it's worked with us before is we've always considered what the fan base would think. After the 2 EPs, we got like so our very first 2 things, we got this fan base, and it's how would I describe it without being rude? It'd be like a middle-aged fan base. Like you got the people with the beards, mainly men, that will be wearing Clutch t-shirts, you know, and they will be in the front row, they'll be at the back row, and they'll be in the middle, and that was our audience. And then over the years, it's been like, right, we don't want to alienate them. This album, it was just like, I don't care anymore. If they want to hang on, that's great. If they don't like where we're going now, then it's also great, you know.
No, absolutely. I mean, it's almost like moving with the times, I suppose, in a way. You want to stay relevant and fresh. And I think if you do the same album over and over and over again, people get a bit bored, I suppose. Like, oh, it just sounds the same as last time.
Yeah, but the only thing we've done that I would say are similar is those first 2 EPs where it was like one song per side and each song was 15 minutes long. And it was just real long, stonery like songs, and that's what got us our initial sort of in. So yeah, I'm happy for it, but I can't even dream of playing a 15-minute song now. it's so strange. It's so far from where we are. Weird how like just a few years changes things.
It's mental, isn't it? It's a year doesn't feel very long anymore as you get older. When you're a kid, it's like, bloody hell, this year's taking ages, and now you're like, fuck it, it's December already. But like you said, you've released 3 singles. Blood Feast, Eaten Alive, unbelievable riff at the start of Eaten Alive, by the way. And the Mephisto Waltz, also a banger. And you say they've been well received so far?
Yeah, surprisingly so. The Mephisto Waltz has been ready a long time. We did that like a couple of years ago, I think just as just before COVID hit, we had already sort of bagged them ones. So when we went back in, we made it so they all sound like a one piece, but we already knew where we wanted to go. As I say, having the pandemic happen just was like, right, okay, we can really nail all this down and get it really good. But those singles, like, I don't know, they're like, it's odd. Kerrang put them in the charts and things like that. So it was really nice to feature in there. But I don't know what people, as I say, after you've done it, like you just don't, it's gone. It's a really it's a strange thing. Like that, it's like, you know how like rock stars will go, oh, like it's not my baby anymore, it's your baby or whatever. I don't feel like that. It is my baby, and don't be mean to my baby. But I've got no say anymore. I can't like do anything about it. As I say, on those dog walks, if I feel like, oh man, I wish I'd put a harmony under that, like that would have been so good, I'm kicking myself rather than like going, oh, it doesn't belong to me. It's weird. It's weird. But yeah, I'm glad you have enjoyed them. Like yeah, I wonder how they'll go down live, because it's, as I say, it's slightly different from our normal stuff, which is quite like sometimes slow and headbangery, whereas this is more energetic. I don't
Yeah.
expect pits or anything, but like all
you'll
I
get
all I want is people to like go, yeah, I'll take that.
just like I said just a bit ago, the riffage, at the very beginning of Eating Alive, I think people are going to go nuts for it. So I mean, I do
I
my
go
shit.
nuts for it, man. I in the practice room when they like we act like freaking idiots, kids. Like when we just go off on it, it's like because no one can see us, we're just trapped in that room, and it would just I don't know. We would never do what we do in that practice room on stage, and I wonder what other people looking inward think of us. Like we leave like soaking with sweat. We have so much fun. It's like those videos you get of like New York hardcore in those tiny little rooms. Where
Yeah.
you're just bouncing off the walls with each other. It's fucking crazy. It's the best thing about being in a band is like those little practice room sessions when you just get through a new song and you're like, let's just play this for the rest of the time. Love it. It's the best thing. Best thing.
And it shows you've got unbelievable chemistry, which also makes bands great.
Well, yeah, well, I wouldn't know. That's fair for you to decide. Yeah, wait until you see us live, and we're like, what's this? Yeah, wait for that moment.
So, what would you say sets this album apart from the others that you've already had out?
I think it's not so serious. It's a main difference. Like all the political and the social political stuff, it's there, but it's undercurrent. Whereas in all our previous stuff, you could read the lyrics and you would say, right, that might be about animal rights, or that might be about domestic abuse, or whatever it would be. And you would be right in thinking those things. Whereas now they're all named after horror movies. And when horror movies tend to have a subtext with like social political themes or whatever. And that's where I was being sort of as crafty as I could be with the lyrics, sort of making sure there are little bits in there still. So I'm not just singing about like someone being, I don't know, grinded in an Iron Maiden or whatever it would be every night. At least then I can be singing about something that I feel is like serious as well. But as I say, they're just fun. Like you can sing to the Mephisto waltz, Roxanne, I'm in love with another man, and just be like singing that and having a happy drunk time, and you'll have just as much fun as you would reading the lyrics at home. Like, so yeah, it's different. Like, as I say, we've not done it before, so it could go real bad. It could be like everyone's like, what the fuck are they doing now? But we'll see.
I'm excited for you guys. I'm excited. I think good things are coming from this. I also read that Blood Feast was played on Radio 1 Rock Show last week.
Yeah, man, that was cool.
That's
like
awesome.
Dan P. Carter's a card. It's like that. The conversation about that was not, oh wow, we got played on Radio 1. It was Dan P. Carter's when he was in the Bloodhound Gang. So basically a practice in our room we'll go through a set. If we like a particular song, we'll just go mad at it for half an hour or whatever, and then we talk. And the conversation went to, oh my god, we got played on Radio 1 last night, blah, 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 whatever it was. And then it was like just all this thing about the Bloodhound Gang, to which I'm like, I don't know anything about the Bloodhound Gang. But they were like that. No, Dan P. Carter's on that album, and that lyric's a bit racy. Like, how was he associated himself with it? And it just went on. And I'm like, God, like we're not doing anything now. What's going on here? So that's when you say that, all I'm thinking is, yeah, Dan P. Carter was in the Bloodhound Gang, and that was a long conversation that I knew nothing about. So yeah,
I like that band. They were. They were like I like some stuff and not the other. That makes sense. There's some stuff that, again, like we said earlier about how I feel that sometimes bands put things out just for the sake of putting it out.
right.
But then they also had some stuff which was unbelievable and incredible. So I mean, as a teenager when they were around. So I'm only a youngin'. So yeah, they had some absolute bangers.
Well,
Still,
yeah, there was an a time I did see them, I think it was on One Fierce Beer Coaster. I think that was an album. I hope it was. And as he left the stage, he walked in slow motion, to the point where like the people were packing up gear around him, and he was still on stage walking really slow, and like he was dead serious, and people were in the audience just looking at him, and like honestly 20 minutes or so. What a commitment to a bit. Like, what a guy. So got to give him that. But yeah, I think that was on that tour. I can't remember.
That's amazing, though. What a story.
What a
Music videos. So I'm on about the process of them, not the completed version. Love them or hate them?
I hate music videos. Yeah, I don't like them. No, we did one where I did like it. So basically I think they should be like an artistic statement. Like the music on your record is your artistic statement. So what I've done with my vocals and the lyrics and the way I phrase them and fit them within the band's music, that's me being an artist. As pretentious as that sounds, that's my bit of art that I've given to the world and I'm really proud of. I don't think like you should do a video unless you've got that same passion for it. We've done them, and it's a necessary thing. Like YouTube is ridiculously important, ridiculous, but it's something I've got no time for, no love for, except that one time where we did a video for Shambles, which with the dissolution of Holy Roll Records, it was attached to them. So I don't think there's even a copy of it about anymore, where I sat in a studio and was filmed from various different angles, just doing this song, like maybe, I don't know, 40, 50 times, just mouthing the words to it. So it was a long day, a real long day. And it was all like screens all around me, and we had this guy come in, do professional filming and stuff like that, and he just done such an epic thing. And I think we've got like maybe 10 seconds of it as a promo that we've still got, so you can see 10 seconds of this like 5-minute video that we did. But it was the one artistic thing that I said, yeah, that guy that made that for us, he could be really proud of that. But other than that, like the Mephisto Waltz video, I gave Cheney a few black and white films and said, can you just do them on your phone? So he edited it all together on his phone, gave it to Max, who then is our drummer, and then he put the words on the screen. Done, knock it out. And that's it. I don't care. I really don't care.
I think if it was back in the early 2000s, because music videos used to be massive in like late 90s, early 2000s sort of thing. Obviously, there was channels. I mean, there still are channels dedicated, obviously, but they pretty much play old stuff now. I used to literally live in my bedroom and watch music videos all day. I'd record Kerrang on VHS and just let it record all night because they play all the good stuff at night, and just sit and watch it all day. Just love it. I used to love those days.
Yeah, man. 120 minutes was my bag, man. When that came on, I would make sure that like my friend Daniel, he would record that for us because he had access to. Was it MTV? I don't know where it was on. Yeah, it was MTV. 120 minutes, and then he'd come over the next weekend with it all on there, and we'd be like sitting down, like watching the latest Smashing Pumpkins thing or whatever it would be. It was just like so good. But yeah, as I say, like I know how important it is. I know some people, they just discover music from YouTube, so I know it is important. Like, and the music industry's changed, but yeah, it means nothing to me. I couldn't care less. Like, we can't afford to do a like This Is America, you know, like a video like that that's gonna change things and like makes you look at things in a different way and inspires you. No, the Mephisto Waltz isn't going to be that. It's just going to be like, let's put that up there, and then hopefully someone can listen to our song that way.
Yeah, no, fair enough. You said before that you were hoping to tour, do some festivals with this record. You've got a little mini tour in April, haven't you? Playing a few shows in the UK.
Yeah, we got a double weekender. I'm excited about that. Like, we get to play like people like Norwich. But I love playing Norwich. Like, I love Norwich. So yeah, we we were given a choice of like few dates in Europe somewhere or Norwich. I'm going to choose Norwich every time. Thank you, Norwich. I love Norwich.
It's a weirdly beautiful place.
Love it.
I never when I've been there. I didn't expect it to be as like lovely as it. I expected it to be, be nice, but I look around going, "Fuck, Norwich is stunning." It's like a forgotten
bloody
place.
is. Yeah, it bloody is. Like that, and the people in the venue that we're playing are so cool. So yeah, we had a great time last time we were there. But playing a few festivals as well. I think there's a few we can't announce. So like there is lots coming up. It's pretty exciting. I'm a bit nervous about like playing some of the new songs. As I say, I'm not sure how they will even fit into the set. We're trying to knock them out in the practice room now, like trying to jam things together. How does that work against that? It's interesting. We'll see how it works. I don't know. It's too new. Like, we'll see. It could be really awful, or it could be like one of those things. I remember a guy coming up to me after a gig we played in Bristol, and he said to me, like, what do you something? And I'm not being like full of hyperbole here, but he said like that. I'm sorry, he's probably was. He said like that was life changing. I was so inspired. He was dancing around that room, buzzing around like something else you wouldn't believe. And like, I forgot what that feels like to like be watching a band and be that inspired by a band, like especially a band our size. And I've done it before, like growing up. There's been like local bands or bands that are on that periphery. Like, you might see their name in Kerrang here and again, but they're not on the front cover or whatever. And that's the sort of thing that like, oh man, I can't believe people aren't talking about this band. I'm just blown away by them. And if we can do that for a handful of people, man, that's awesome, isn't it? It's great.
That must be an amazing feeling to have someone say that to you.
It's weird, to the point where you don't believe them, but like, you've got to take people at their word. So okay,
Yeah, no, fair. So obviously, I mean, this is audio only, so people can't see the wonderful thing behind you. But A Year in Horror, which is a podcast that you've done for your Patreon, I believe. Could you give us a brief description of that?
yeah. So like, I do a horror podcast. So every month I choose a year out of a bag, and then I will just talk about all the horror films from that year, put them in an order, and then in the middle of the month I'll interview my favorite bands. So like, just over the past couple of weeks, I've interviewed members from Hole, from Slayer. Like, it was amazing. I got to speak to Dave Lombardo. Can you believe that? It's just amazing. Melvins. I spoke to King Buzzo the other day. It was just like, this is the best time of my whole life. Like, I'm living the fucking dream right now. But also I was like, right, well, I've got like, within the podcast thing, I've got like a bigger fan base probably than OHHMS. Like, the listener to this ship, sorry, is quite a
That's
lot.
right.
What was I going to say? The listenership to it. There we go. It's a lot bigger than our listenership to OHHMS. So I was like, right, well, let's introduce the Patreons to OHHMS. So yeah, so basically what I've done here is like, over the 5-week period until the run up, and then 1 week after it, I'm just interviewing the bands and like, so interviewing the members of the band, and then they've really gone into some strange stuff that I didn't even know, because they're my friends, and like to find out things about it. It's weird when you interview someone that you've known forever, because you don't normally sit down with your mate and go like, why do you like that sound on that pedal? You know what? And they'll go into it like how, like, oh, like I was watching a manga in like 1998, and then this pedal sounds like the bit off You Got Sucky Doji or something, and it's like that sort of thing. It's like, right, okay, well, now I know that about you, and we just explored those sort of things with each other, and it was really nice just to get to know my friends a bit better, to be honest with you. So yeah, I just interview the bands, and it's all up there, and it's the one bit of Patreon where there's no paywall, so you can just go on there and you can go to, I think it's patreon.com/A Year in Horror. Scroll down and you will see like the OHHMS interviews, and it's like how we created Rot. Really, it's simple as that. It's just like they choose a song each that they individually wrote, and then we just go at it. How did you do it?
That's amazing. Paul, this has been wonderful. I've really, really enjoyed talking to you, my friend. And obviously, the brand new album Rot is out next Friday, the 31st of March, for anyone that's listening to this right now. Before I do let you skedaddle and get out of here, though, is there any plugs, social medias, anything you want people to go and check out?
Just type in Church Road Records to Google. Have a little look down there. That's where you can find our records, our merch as well. Just have a look at Justine and Sammy and what they're doing. They're both employed to serve, so they're really busy. But they are committed. They are lifers. Unlike me, who's not willing to quit my job. They have given up everything for music, and to be part of their life, for OHHMS to be part of that and their dream, that's amazing. So yeah, hit them up. Go into Google, Church Road Records, and just spend a little bit of your hard-earned on them.
Thanks for listening. Make sure you keep up to date with future episodes by subscribing to our channels. For more information on this podcast, or for all the latest music news, reviews, interviews and more, head over to our website, www.therazorsedge.rocks.